Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the True Alien Podcast. You know, your daily dose of all things weird, wild, and unbelievable.
In the world of alien encounters, that's right.
I'm Adrian Smith,
And I'm Julia Jones.
and we're so glad you could join us today because we've got a seriously chilling story lined up for you today.
A story that takes us deep into the heart of the Canadian wilderness.
It involves a group of scouts on a camping trip.
And they encounter something way more terrifying than any campfire tale.
Oh, yeah, this isn't just your average, Bigfoot sighting or spooky ghost story.
What we're diving into today is a paranormal probe.
Of a case that really pushes the boundaries of what we think we know about alien encounters.
It does.
So picture this. You're with some friends. You're deep in the Quebec forest.
Enjoying the peace and quiet of nature,
You're there to have some fun, maybe test your survival skills a little bit.
Right, and if you're lucky, maybe catch a glimpse of some local wildlife.
Well, that's exactly what this group of 5 scouts were expecting when they set out on their wilderness adventure.
Ethan, Maya, Zara, Riley, and Will.
They were a tight-knit group.
Each with their own, quirks and personalities.
But they all had one thing in common.
A thirst for adventure.
And boy, did they get more adventure than they bargained for.
They really did, and what's so interesting about this case is how it just highlights the unexpected nature of these encounters.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that these experiences can happen to anyone, anywhere, and often when you least expect it.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's like they were in the wrong place at the right time, or maybe the right place at the wrong time.
Right.
Depending on how you look at it.
Exactly.
But anyway, they were enjoying their last night out, relaxing by the lake, sharing stories, roasting marshmallows around the campfire.
Sounds nice.
I know, right? Peaceful.
Yeah.
And that's when this feeling of unease kind of started to creep in. Yeah. Ethan, the leader of the group, described feeling like they were being watched. Like something out there in the darkness was observing them.
That feeling of being observed, that primal instinct that kicks in.
Right.
That's a recurring theme in a lot of alien encounter accounts.
Makes sense.
Some researchers believe it could be like a subconscious reaction to an unfamiliar presence or energy, something our senses are picking up on.
Interesting.
Even if our conscious minds aren't fully aware of it.
Yeah, that's definitely unsettling. And, in this case, Ethan's intuition proved to be spot on.
It did.
The group decided to go for a night paddle on the lake.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, just a leisurely way to enjoy the serenity of the wilderness.
Right.
Before heading back to civilization.
Okay.
But it was during this seemingly peaceful paddle that things took a decidedly strange turn.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Well, Zara, who happened to be in the lead canoe, she spotted something metallic glinting beneath the surface of the water.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so at first they just thought it was some debris.
Sure.
Maybe an old can or something like that.
All right, like trash.
Exactly. But there was something about the way it was reflecting the moonlight
Okay.
that drew them to it.
Huh.
It wasn't just a random piece of trash.
So it was something else.
It seemed deliberate, almost purposeful.
Wow.
And when they finally pulled it out of the water, they realized just how right they were.
What was it?
What they had found was not a discarded beer can,
Okay, good.
but this egg-shaped object, perfectly smooth, jet black, and completely devoid of any markings or seams.
It sounds strange.
It was like nothing they'd ever seen before.
Wow.
And to make matters even stranger, it was humming.
Humming.
Like actually vibrating with this low rhythmic pulse.
Now, this detail is particularly intriguing because most accounts of alien technology, we think complex machinery, flashing lights, intricate designs.
Right.
But this object was almost eerily simple.
Yeah.
Yet its humming suggested some kind of internal mechanism.
Right.
Perhaps even an energy source.
Okay.
But one that operates on principles we don't yet understand.
It's almost like it was grown rather than built.
Yeah.
Like some kind of organic technology.
Interesting.
Even Will, the group's resident skeptic.
Right.
He couldn't deny that this thing was seriously weird.
Yeah.
He kept saying it was too quiet for an alien artifact.
What did he think aliens would have?
He thought they would have flashing lights and, loud noises.
No.
But even he couldn't shake this feeling that something wasn't right.
I think that's a really important point. We often have these preconceived notions of what alien technology should look like based on science fiction and popular culture.
Right.
But the reality might be far more subtle, even elegant.
True.
This object with its simple design and almost organic quality,
Right.
it challenges those assumptions
Yeah.
and forces us to consider a wider range of possibilities.
I like that. And that brings us to the moment that changes everything.
Okay.
They brought the object back to their campsite.
Right.
And as they huddled around it trying to make sense of their discovery, Zara, who, always loved to tinker with things.
Oh.
She couldn't resist the urge to probe a little further.
I see where this is going.
Yeah, she took out her trusty multi-tool and, well, let's just say that's when things got a whole lot more complicated.
It's that classic human curiosity, isn't it?
Yeah.
The urge to explore, to understand the unknown.
Right.
Even when it might be safer to just leave well enough alone.
Right.
Unfortunately for our scouts, this curiosity came with some pretty significant consequences. The moment Zara touched that object with her tool, this blinding light just erupted.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it forced everyone to, shield their eyes.
My bad.
And when they could finally see again, the object was glowing.
Oh, wow.
With this intense blue energy, and these strange tendrils of light were reaching out.
Reaching out.
Almost like it was scanning its surroundings.
Well, that's creepy.
And then, just like that, it vanished.
Gone. Poof, gone.
Like it never even existed.
It's like the universe decided to play this cosmic magic trick on them.
Right.
And then disappear without a trace.
It's wild, but that wasn't the end of it, right?
No, not at all.
In fact, you could say that was just the beginning of their troubles. Yeah, because shortly after the object vanished, this piercing metallic shriek echoed through the forest.
Oh, no.
It was a sound unlike anything they'd ever heard before.
That's scary.
It was a sound that sent shivers down their spines.
Yeah.
And it made it clear that whatever they had encountered, it wasn't just some passive object.
Right.
It was something intelligent, something aware.
Uh-oh.
And it was not happy.
It's like that shriek was a call to arms.
Yeah.
A signal that whatever was out there was now coming for them.
Right. And Ethan, being the level-headed leader that he was, he knew they had to act fast.
So what do they do?
They spent the rest of the night transforming their campsite into a fortified bunker.
Wow.
Using their wilderness skills to prepare for a fight against the unknown.
That's where their scout training really came into play, I bet.
Absolutely. They sharpened stakes, set up tripwires, and Zara,
right,
with her incredible ingenuity.
What did she do?
She even started rigging her gear into some kind of makeshift EMP device.
Wow, she's like a MacGyver.
She is. They knew they were outmatched, but they were determined to put up a fight.
It's a testament to human resilience, right?
Absolutely. That ability to adapt and improvise in the face of danger.
I mean, they went from roasting marshmallows to prepping for an alien invasion in the span of a few hours.
Yeah.
Talk about a camping trip gone wrong.
That's one way to put it. But as the sun began to rise, they got their first glimpse of what they were up against. And it was unlike anything they could have imagined.
So what was it?
It wasn't some hulking, monstrous alien.
Okay.
But a sleek, metallic robot moving on these 4 insectile legs.
Insectile legs.
With a terrifying grace.
Wow.
It had these glowing crimson sensors on its head that swiveled back and forth, scanning the area.
Scanning like it was looking for something.
Exactly like a predator locking onto its prey.
That's terrifying.
And Will, our resident skeptic, even blurted out, "It's not an alien, it's a damn robot."
And he was right.
He was.
Which, in a way, is even more terrifying.
How so?
Because this wasn't some creature driven by instinct or emotion. This was a machine programmed to carry out a specific task.
Yeah.
And from the looks of things, that task was retrieving the object that they had found.
Right.
And dealing with anyone who got in its way.
Exactly. And it introduces this whole new level of complexity to the situation.
Yeah.
They were no longer dealing with just an unknown entity. They were dealing with advanced technology, potentially artificial intelligence.
It makes you wonder.
It does.
Who created this robot? What was its purpose, and what level of threat were they truly facing?
Exactly. And that robot wasted no time in showing them just how dangerous it could be.
Oh, no.
It lunged at those scouts, its metallic claws just slashing through the air.
Oh, my gosh.
Maya, quick on her feet, she narrowly avoided getting sliced in half.
Wow.
Ethan and Riley armed with those sharpened spears.
Okay.
They managed to push that robot back for a moment.
Okay, good. At least something.
But then it unleashed this blast of searing heat from its sensor, scorching the ground where Ethan had been standing just a second ago.
Oh my gosh, that's so scary.
It's
a terrifying display of technological superiority.
It is, and it highlights the ingenuity and bravery of these scouts in their attempts to fight back.
Yeah.
They realized they couldn't win in a head-on fight.
Right.
So they had to use their knowledge of the terrain, their wilderness skills, to outmaneuver this technologically superior opponent.
It's like watching David and Goliath play out in the heart of the Canadian wilderness.
Yeah. They led that robot on a chase through the woods using their tripwires and makeshift traps to slow it down, to disorient it, to create any advantage they could.
So what about Zara?
Zara, she was waiting for the perfect moment to use her EMP device,
Okay.
knowing that was their best shot at taking this thing down.
So did she get that chance?
She did. That moment came when Maya, with some incredible quick thinking, managed to snare one of the robot's legs with a rope, anchoring it to a tree.
Oh, wow.
The robot thrashed, trying to break free,
Okay.
and Ethan used that distraction to attack.
What did he do?
He leaped onto this boulder and just started hammering at that robot's joints.
Wow.
With a sharpened stake, trying to find a weak spot.
It was a desperate move.
It was a courageous move.
Yeah.
And it gave Will the opening he needed.
What?
He ran forward, holding this lit flare, yelling at that robot.
And yelling at it.
To distract it, drawing its attention away from his friends.
Okay, I see.
He threw that flare past the robot, and for just the split second, those crimson sensors, they turned towards that new threat.
The flyer.
It was all the time Zara needed.
Okay.
She charged forward, EMP device raised, and slammed it right into the robot's chest.
I bet she was terrified.
It was a brave, selfless act.
Yeah.
She put herself in incredible danger to protect her friends,
Yeah.
knowing that if that device didn't work, they would all be in serious trouble.
So did it work?
It did. There's this blinding flash, this deafening crackle, and then silence.
Wow.
The robot just collapsed, its sensors extinguished smoke curling from its mangled metal body. Zara was lying on the ground nearby, dazed but alive.
Thank goodness.
They had done it.
They took down this advanced piece of alien tech.
Using nothing but their wits and whatever they could find in the wilderness.
That's amazing. It's a moment of pure exhilaration, relief, disbelief.
It is. They had defied the odds, and they emerged victorious.
So it's over.
But as we know with these alien encounters, things are rarely that simple.
Oh, what do you mean?
Their victory was short-lived. From deep within the forest, they heard more of those metallic shrieks.
More.
This time, not one, but several more robots were on their way. It was a chilling realization, that the threat was far from over.
Yeah, not good.
Riley, always the observant one, she discovered a data core inside the wrecked robot.
A data core.
It was still flickering to life.
Like it was trying to do something?
Yeah, trying to transmit something.
So what was it sending?
Well, she quickly realized this robot wasn't just a hunter, it was a scout.
A scout.
A beacon, sending their location back to its buddies.
Oh no, that's not good. That adds a whole new layer of complexity to this encounter.
It does. It suggests a level of intelligence and coordination that's frankly unsettling.
Yeah, for sure. These robots weren't just randomly patrolling the woods.
Right. They were part of a larger network, a strategic force.
With the ability to track and communicate.
Exactly. It makes you wonder.
It does make you wonder what their ultimate goal was.
Right. What were they planning to do with that egg-shaped object?
Yeah, and that's something that the scouts themselves were grappling with.
Right. I mean, they were exhausted. They were scared.
Yeah.
But they were also angry.
Makes sense.
They had been attacked, their lives were threatened, and they weren't about to just sit back and wait for more robots to show up.
So what did they do?
They made a decision, a bold one, to fight back.
Wow, to fight back against these robots.
And that decision speaks volumes about their courage and their resourcefulness.
Absolutely.
They were outmatched technologically, but they refused to give up.
They weren't going down without a fight.
They decided to use the salvaged alien tech against their attackers to turn the tables on their hunters.
That's incredible.
Wow.
It's fascinating how they transitioned from being victims to becoming proactive, aggressive in their approach.
Right, they were learning from their enemy.
Adapting to the situation.
Finding ways to level the playing field.
I love it. It's a true testament to human ingenuity.
It is our ability to think outside the box, especially when our backs are against the wall.
And that ingenuity led them to an incredible discovery.
It did, as they were venturing deeper into the wilderness, trying to stay ahead of those incoming robots. They stumbled upon this hidden cave.
A cave? What was in the cave?
Inside, they found ancient pictograms etched into the walls.
Pictograms like drawings.
Yeah, and these weren't just random doodles.
Oh, what were they?
They depicted figures battling the same kind of robots they had just encountered.
Wow, so they weren't the first.
It was like looking back through time.
Wow.
Witnessing a conflict that had been raging for centuries, maybe even millennia.
They were part of something much bigger than themselves.
They realized they weren't the first ones to face this threat, that they were part of a much larger story, a legacy of resistance against these alien machines.
That realization must have been both empowering and terrifying at the same time.
Absolutely empowering, because they knew they weren't alone in this fight, but terrifying because it meant that this conflict was far more complex and widespread than they could ever imagine.
So what did they do?
But even in the face of this daunting truth, they didn't give up. They gathered their courage, they prepared for their final stand, and they rigged that salvaged alien tech to send a message back into space.
What kind of message?
A message of defiance, a warning, a beacon of hope, perhaps.
Wow.
A signal that humanity, despite its technological limitations, wouldn't back down without a fight.
It's a powerful ending to an incredible story.
It is one that leaves us with more questions than answers.
What happened to those scouts? Did their message reach its intended recipients? Did it deter further attacks or provoke an even greater response? We may never know for sure. But one thing's clear, those 5 individuals faced with an extraordinary threat. They demonstrated remarkable courage, ingenuity, and resilience. Their story is a reminder that even in the face of the unknown, the human spirit can find a way to persevere, to adapt, and to fight for survival. So until next time, keep your eyes on the skies, your minds open to the possibilities, and remember the truth is out there waiting to be discovered. And don't forget to rate and follow the show for more incredible True Alien stories. We'll see you on the next episode of the True Alien Podcast.